Welcome back for another real estate talk, tips, and tour. My name is Jenine Cinco. I'm a realtor, entrepreneur, and investor. So in today's video, we're gonna talk about how we got our first rental property with 0% down. Let's get started. Okay, so jumping right in, here is the property in question. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet home in a B-class neighborhood. We purchased it for $158,000 back in September of 2020. Closed on the property for $158,000, negotiated $3,000 in seller concessions and $7,000 towards repair. Since it is a 100% loan or 0% down, the only thing we need to bring at the closing table is $2,700. Per the loan requirements, we have to stay at the property for at least 1 year before we are able to rent it out. That gives us 12 months to spread out our costs remodeling the house. How did we determine if this property is worth purchasing or not? Let's go over the numbers and how we calculated them. The first criteria and the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the property has to meet the 1% rule. So why is it important for a prospect property to meet the 1% rule? This is simply because if the market value of the property is meeting the 1% rule every month over the course of 12 months, your total rate of return will be 12%. Let's break it down further. Let's say you found a property for $100,000, you multiply that by 0.01 or 1%, which is equivalent to $1,000. If the rental comps in the area is deemed at least $1,000, that means you're getting at least 1% per month for the course of 12 months, a rate of return of 12%. Okay, so you found a property that meets the 1% rule. Now, you determine what kind of neighborhood that prospect property is currently. You can pause the video here and I'm gonna put a graphic to show you the different classes. As beginner investors, we wanted to limit our risk, and that's why we chose a Class B or better neighborhood for our first investment property. Now let's get into cash on cash return. We're going to divide our net rental income by our total cash out of pocket. Total cost out of pocket simply means what it took you to close, repair, and remodel the property. For example, a particular property has a rental net income of $1,000 and it took them $10,000 to close on the home, remodel, and repair anything in the property. So $1,000 divided by $10,000 is 10% cash on cash return. So why is it important for you to determine this? So that you know how much your money is making you. And you can compare that to your other investments. If my retirement account, let's say a 401k or a TRS, is earning 13% year over year, then why would I invest in a property that's only earning 10% per year? These are just a few methods that we use to determine if a property is worth investing into, but there's a lot of other formulas you can use for your own research. But we're gonna dive right into the last one that we use, which is ARV, the after repair value. Simply stating, you're looking at properties within your desired neighborhood that's listed below at what's currently sold in the past 6 months. A realtor can run the sold comps for you as well as the rental comps. Let's say you found a neighborhood that you want to invest in and we saw a prospect property. The sold in the neighborhood run by your realtor is averaging $150,000. Now you saw this prospect property listed for, let's just say $100,000. Of course, you toured the property, toured the neighborhood, and you've determined that for you to do it yourself, repairing it, it'll cost you around $10,000. If in any case, landlording doesn't work out for you, this is basically your backup plan. You know that the solds in the area is averaging $150,000. You've put a sweat equity of $10,000. Now you got $110,000 total in the property. $150,000 minus $110,000 is $40,000. In a perfect world, that is potentially your equity. Now that you're a little bit more familiar how to find your first rental property, let's dive right in how you can find a 0% down loan. In the state of Texas, and I'm specifically in Houston, we first shopped for different lenders up until we find a credit union that offered a 100% loan. So the only requirements for us getting the 0% down loan was to have a 45% debt to income ratio and at least 680 credit score. The interest rate for that loan was at 4% 2 years ago, but we determined that taking on that 4% is okay because the property is going to be rented out anyways. So basically the tenants are going to be paying for that higher interest rate. Doing all the research and seeing all these numbers come into action, this is currently how our property is doing. We bought the property for $158,000 and all in total cash out of pocket is $19,700. That's including our closing costs, repairs, and remodeling for a total of $177,000 and $700,000. Let's determine the net rental income. We were able to rent out the house for $1,725 per month, which is equivalent to $20,700 per year, minus the yearly expenses of $14,800, which gives us a total net income of $6,000 for our rental. So now that we have most of the numbers in, let us determine the last step, which is the cash on cash return. With the net rental income of $6,000 per year, divided by our total cash out of pocket of $19,700, we are getting a cash on cash return of 30%. And now this is what the property looks like today after it's been remodeled, repaired, and rented. Thank you so much for watching until the end of this video. I post every Friday, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.